What is up, everybody? This is your girl, Martha D. Staub, owner of MDMC Entertainment and MDMC Authentics. And today I want to talk to you about one of the most requested pieces in my collection that I have that people just want to know more about, and that is my WWE Women's Championship. Now, I think this is probably the best championship ever. I actually disagree with WWE's decision to they didn't discontinue it. They just retired the title. And I never liked that. I hated it that they did that. It's just, oh man. This title means a lot to me. So let me explain the story of how I got it and who signed it and who's left to sign it. So every time that I go to a signing and I whip this baby out, people always have questions. They're like, yo, like, who else has signed this? Like, oh my gosh. And so everyone wants to chat with me about who I have signed on this. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me show you. So we originally got this, the co-CEO owner of MDMC Authentics, before MDMC was even a thing. I was living back home in Roswell, New Mexico. I was an editor for the Roswell Daily Record, and the year was 2012. Yeah, 2012. And we were going to WrestleMania 28 in Miami. And one of the things that was really exciting about that was our co-CEO was just coming back from a deployment in Afghanistan. So if you know anything about military life and deployment life, you know that you make a lot of money in deployment, like a lot. And I was basically pocketing a lot of our money, and we ended up going to WrestleMania that year. That was our first Mania ever. We got ringside seats. My heart is on TV right when John Cena and The Rock are looking at each other. My big old heart that says Cena is behind there. You can go back and look. It's so exciting. But one of the things that Jared wanted was he wanted me to have the title. And he was like, you need to go because you're going to meet some of the women that have held this title. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to fight with that. So let me unveil the title. It comes in this velvet bag. So let me whip it out real quick. It came with a blank nameplate. I, for the life of me, could never get this nameplate to look like what was on here, so I kept it. I had someone else do it, engrave it, but it doesn't look like WWE engraving. All right. Oops, other way. There it is. All right. So, one of the things that I absolutely hate, here, I'll talk like this. One of the things that I absolutely hate, and I see this a lot in collectors group pages or at signings and things like that, is I see a lot of people get a belt. No idea why this happens, but they'll go to whoever's at that signing and have them sign that belt, even though they never held it. I was in a line to meet Carmella. I have the SmackDown version of the new Women's Championship, and someone was holding the red one, and I was like, well, hopefully Carmella gets that at some point, because if not, that's just useless. And I saw at one point the WWE championship, the regular WWE championship. I saw in a group this guy, and I saw this at Access. People with belts just run off and have it signed by anybody. That is a big no-no. Why are you having irrelevant people sign something they never held? Like, if you want, and maybe it's because I watched Pawn Stars for a long time, or I don't know. But if you are going to get memorabilia signed, make sure it is signed by the person that actually had something to do with said memorabilia. Because what you're doing is you're devaluing the autograph and the item. Don't do it. So, everyone that has signed this belt has held this belt. So let's go down the list. Let's see here. So number 1 was Lita. And where's Lita at? Lita's up here. Right here. Maybe if I get it in closer. There you go. So Lita signed this at Access 2012 in Miami Beach at the convention center. All right. Number 2. Let me tell you about Lita, though. Lita was, I don't know if it was Access or what, but she was okay. She wasn't really that thrilled. I've met Lita several times after that. She's been great. But the first time was a little, I think because at Access, they just want people to move it. And, I don't know. But Lita was my first one to sign this. All right. Number 2 was Victoria. Let me tell you about Victoria. So when I was getting this out of the bag, she asked me, is that the Divas Championship? Girl, no, it wasn't the Divas Championship. You didn't hold the Divas Championship. The Divas Championship is garbage, okay? I just met Medusa, and man, I wish she had thrown that butterfly belt in the trash. In fact, I made a meme out of that, where she threw that shit in the garbage. I hated the Divas Championship belt, but now I have to buy it because all those girls come around here. And as a true collector, I kind of just have to grit my teeth and buy it. But she was like, hey, so is that what that is? I said, no, this is the belt you held. And so she was like, really? And so she pulled it out. I pulled it out, and she was like, hell yeah. And so she signed it up on this corner. So initially my thought was, let me have them sign all 4 corners, and then I'll move over to the straps. So yeah, that was great. So number 3 was Melina, 2016 at the Wrestling Guys store. So this was the first time I ever went to the Wrestling Guys store. I saw that Melina was doing a signing. I don't know how we figured it out. And then when we seen on their social media that they had China in the past and everything, I was like, yo, we should keep tabs on the Wrestling Guys store to see, because at some point I was going to run into China. I'll get to that later. But anyway, we discovered the Wrestling Guys store with the Melina signing, and Melina signed it down here. So she was really sweet. And I think I was the only one to bring out the championship belt. And she was just like, oh my gosh. And I think I started this tradition with Victoria is I have them pose with my title. Lita, I couldn't because at Access, she was behind a table and you can't really do those things at Access. But Victoria, I let her, she handled this title. She knew what to do with it. And I was like, well, I'm just going to have all the girls carry the title for me. So Victoria did it. I had Melina pose with the picture. I'll be adding pictures in through this as well. So you guys can check that out. All right. After Melina was Candace Michelle. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. Hold on. It wasn't Candace Michelle. So number 4 was Trish Stratus. And this was at Rhode Island Comic Con 2017 in Providence, Rhode Island. Okay. The thing with Trish, so I wanted her to have the biggest real estate possible. So I had her sign there. 2017 in Rhode Island. I hauled this thing. You know how much this sucks to go through airport security because it's all metal. And you have to sit there and wait and watch them investigate your stuff. And then they look at it and they're like, oh, this is dope. Oh, who signed it? So TSA gets a kick out of it every time. But I wanted her to have the most space. And I really loved, Trish was so cool. She let me record her signing it. I'll put this in here as well. And she was just great. I wore a Wonder Woman t-shirt that day because it was Comic-Con. And of course, she's a Wonder Woman fan as well. So we totally just had a blast talking about how much we love Wonder Woman. So ironically, that's weird. Trish was first. And then number 5 was Candace Michelle. And so she completed the 4 corners here. And she was over here. Wait, here. Candace. Let me tell you about Candace. I loved Candace Michelle. She was part of the modelly types of divas back in the day. But she aspired to do so much more than just be one of those ballet girls. She was on Playboy, which, by the way, I loved her Playboy spread. Yes, I saw it. I was a big fan of Candace Michelle. She looked phenomenal. Goals for days. But what I loved more about that was her story of being in WWE and her pushing forward in becoming an actual champion. She took time off and trained like a beast. And she came back and got this title. And I could not be more prouder of her. She's just such a sweet girl, a woman, whatever. She's just so sweet and caring. And I met her at Frankensons 2018. And one of the things was we were all in line waiting to talk to her. And she was like, as soon as she came in, she's like, I need the first 30 minutes with me over here in these chairs. And so she gave us like a motivational speech and, not to give up. And she always says, she says to everybody, we're all born champions. I was like, shit, that's dope. Okay. So I'm a champion. Everyone's a champion. When you're born, you're a champion. I was like, that was a memorable thing. And I actually got to spend time with her and like actually talk to her about like, I guess I was the only one really interested in this little discussion, motivational speech before the signing. Because a lot of people stayed in the line. And I was like, Candace was like, come on, sit over here. Let me tell y'all a story. And I was like, all right. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to go where Candace is going. And she was just so sweet. I loved her story. I got to ask her who she would want to face. She said Charlotte, by the way. If she ever got the chance to come back, I hope she comes back in the ring in some form. She does a lot of appearances. I don't know if she's really ring ready to come back. Like, I don't know if she's like actively working out in the ring, but other than that, she looks phenomenal. All right. Next one. So I wasn't here for this. Actually, I had to send Jared to go do it for me. But number 6 is Gail Kim, and she signed in 2018 at Frankensons at City of Industry. So Gail is, where are you at, Gail? Gail. She went on the back. So here's Gail. Gail is, I think, a 4-time women's champion. I was bummed. I had a show that day. I was traveling with another talent to another show, so I couldn't make it to that, but Gail signed it, and she did fantastic. I love it. So I really don't have any other story besides that. Let's see. So Molly Holly is number 7, 2018 at the Wrestling Guys store. Where's Molly at? There she is. Let me get this over here. There's Molly. Molly. So she's doing another appearance at the Wrestling Guys store, and I've been kind of debating whether I should go back and have her put Hall of Fame now that she's in the Hall of Fame. But a lot of them don't say Hall of Fame. Now that I think of it, Trish doesn't say Hall of Fame either. If I go back and do all that, that would suck. Anyway, so there's Molly Holly. She was interesting. she wasn't really talkative. I don't know why. I don't know. She was okay. I made her hold the title for me, though. Let me see. Number 8 is Ivory, 2018. Man, I did a lot in 2018. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I did a lot in 2018. So 2018 was New York Comic-Con, signed in New York City, Miss Ivory. Now, Ivory, and she put Hall of Fame 2018. You can see that right there. Okay. Ivory. She was dope. Okay, so I was standing in the line to meet her, and people, again, when you whip this out, people want to talk about it. And so I was talking to some random person about it, and I guess she had a live stream going on that time. So co-CEO was at home while I was in New York, and he could hear me having this conversation about the plate, the nameplate that I have on this right here, and how I try to change it, and it didn't come out the way I wanted it. And so it has an old nickname. Because WWE at the time was engraving names on here, and I didn't want my real name on here. At the time, I was really fond of a nickname that I was giving away a while back. And then I had an extra. It came with an extra, so you can swap it out. If you don't want your name on here, you just do that. So I'm sitting here telling this story. So Ivory is a queen of her own. She is one of those pioneers from back in the day. She was in Glow, the glamorous ladies of wrestling. And she... If you don't know what Glow is, go watch it on Netflix. I think there's only 3 seasons. I think I'm still waiting on the last season, or it got canceled. I'm not sure. But it was a fantastic story about these women that wrestled. And they were the pioneers that eventually, out of Glow, Ivory, I think, was the only one that made it to the WWE. And so I had to talk to Ivory about it. And I said, girl, what do you think? Like, you know, the story is being told on Netflix. Like, you made it. You're the only one out of Glow that made it. And you're a champion. And she's like, oh, I love it. I think it's fantastic. And so my interaction with her, she was so thrilled to see this. She's like, oh, who do you have? Who do you have? And I said, only champions. And she's like, oh, okay. So she was like, she was looking at it. And I had her sign it. She is the sweetest woman I've ever met. I have a soft spot for Ivory now. Like, oh, she was a badass in the ring too. Let me see here. So that was Ivory. The next one was Mickie James, 2019 at the Walmart. I didn't put Walmart on here. Walmart in Beaumont, California. Now, Beaumont is east, like by Palm Springs. And so she actually was doing a Christmas giveaway, or she was doing a Christmas, not a giveaway, but she was doing like a toy fund, a toy raise. Was it? Toy drive. So she was doing a toy drive. So in order for you to get something signed by her, you had to download her Christmas song and you had to donate a toy. So, of course, we bought Funkos and donated a bunch of those. And I met her. And so I thought when I had this belt, I wanted them to interlock. And so I wanted Trish on one side and Mickie on the other. So you can see there's Mickey's autograph. It's not the best, but it's good. It's all right. So, yeah. So I got Mickey's autograph basically for free. It was around Christmas time, so it had been about a good solid year that this was in the closet waiting for the next one to get signed. And Mickie was the next one. So that's cool. All right. In Beaumont, California. Crazy. So the next one. So I never thought ever, towards the tail end of the run of this title, if you guys remember what happened, Mccoll got their hands on it. Michelle Mccoll and Layla. And what they ended up doing was sacrilege. They cut it in half and they zigzagged it. I remember seeing it at Access and looking at it like, why would you do that? Why? And so they cut the title in half and they walked out as a champion. I really hope that was not like the real one, like the real title. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure that was a replica like this and they cut it in half. Gross. So anyway, I was really pissed because Layla was the last women's champion. I think she beat Mccoll because Mccoll went off and married Undertaker. Michelle McCool. And so Layla became the last women's champion. And so David at the Wrestling Guy store pulled an ace out of his pocket and was like, yo, I'm having Layla. And prior to this was right around the pandemic. I forget what month it was. I can't remember what month it was. I'll have to look. But so it was right around quarantine. So we're going in there with face masks and things like that. And Layla was so sweet, so caring, so nice. Like I wanted to go in and hate her because she tore apart my belt. Like it was mine. It wasn't mine. But I was really pissed. I was like, So I went in, David got this going, and prior to this signing, the East Coast wrestling promoters, I think Bill at Wrestling Inc. was going to have Layla, and I told co-CEO, I said, I'm going to New York. Like, she's going to be signing in that area. I'm going to go to New York. Fuck it. And then the pandemic hit, then that got canceled. And so, it just so happened, she was my only signing in 2000, Miss Layla. It's pretty cool. All right, the last one I have. So I have 11 total. My last one, another one who was signing in New York that I almost jumped on a plane to get this signed for. And this was 2002. I didn't meet her. Where was I? Oh, I had to go home and see my mom. So I didn't get to meet Jazz, but my co-CEO did. This one got smudged a little. I'm not too happy with it, but two-time champion energy named Jazz. So she's right over Ivory, which is kind of weird because I've kept the silver sign. Like I want everyone to sign it in silver. She's the first one to do it in gold. And I'm not mad at it. It looks nice. It just smudged a little. I don't like that. It's not like I'm going to sell or anything. But I think I did get it. I did get this appraised. I think now it's probably worth $1,000 signed. Yeah. Around 2017, I think. Was that? Or was it 2016? Let's see. China died in 2016. So April 17th of 2016. So I had, this is a sad story. So I had been getting, the Wrestling Guy store, Frank and Sons, wherever, here in Southern California. I was just finding women's champions. And I was like, sign. So my biggest one that I wanted signed for the longest time was China. And I said, I need to have China sign this. So she was going to be at Monster Palooza, I think in Pasadena, the week that she died. I think 2 days before she died, she was supposed to be doing a show. So we bought tickets and everything, totally ready to go, wanted to meet her, wanted just to be able to say thank you, because I think when I think of women's wrestling, I think of the pioneer that really did do, let me tell you something. The Bellas were never part of the revolution. Okay, they were not the reason things happened. They just happened to have a little publicity on them. But the real women that really changed women's wrestling, it started off with Chyna, and she gets a lot of flack because of her past. Who cares? We all have a past, okay? But Chyna was the first woman to go into a Royal Rumble, the first woman to hold an Intercontinental Championship, the first woman to just look good and kick ass in the way that women should have been kicking ass back in the day. And I wanted to meet her so badly. Unfortunately, we had bought our tickets. She had passed away on the 17th of April. And I don't cry for people, celebrities that die. It's like, oh, damn, that sucks. And it's like, oh, this one hurts. I cried for Chyna. I was like, damn it, man. Damn it. And so she missed. And it was so weird because I was talking to her on social media. Like, I was commenting and stuff. She was commenting back. I was like, oh my God, Chyna. And she missed it. She totally would have been on this belt. And she died. And that one hurts like no other. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I do actually know someone who has a WWE Women's Championship like this. I think it's the WWF version, actually. And it's signed by Chyna, and I think I'm going to buy it from that person. So I can at least have that and just leave Chyna alone. So she can just have Chyna alone on her own belt and then just complete this one. So it was awful. So a lot of people ask, who are you missing? As of right now, Jacqueline, I know she's doing signings. Right before the pandemic, she was actually in Oklahoma. So I was going to run and see her there because I have people in Oklahoma. Sable. Don't think I'm going to see Sable anytime soon. Unless one of the New York promoters can pull her out from where she's at. Sable's actually married to Brock Lesnar, so. Deborah. All right, Deborah, one of the New York promoters had her. And I am dying to meet Deborah because she was a big deal back in the day. So, the Cat. Okay, everyone knows the Cat. Everyone knows she, flashed herself to Triple H. Yeah, the Cat is notorious, especially during that Attitude Era. So, she needs to have this signed. Hervina, a.k.a. Harvey Whippleman. Harvey is in the LA area. We're tracking him down. I know, he's a dude, but he held the title. Can you imagine if I got a Harvey Whippleman signature on this? A Hervina signature on this? That would be crazy because it's so hard to find. All these other girls, they're on the circuit. You can find them anytime, but Hervina? Yeah. And the three, I'm going to call them, these are the impossibles. Stephanie McMahon. She was a 2-time champ. Beth Phoenix. Married to Edge. I don't know if she will ever do anything like that. I hope she does, but she needs to sign this. And finally, the dead man's wife, Michelle Mccoll. Which I'm not too thrilled about because I really didn't like her as a champion, but she's married to the dead man, and I guess I need it signed. So I literally have, I think that was 8 signatures left to sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then I will have almost everybody except Chyna. Yeah. I think there's someone else who held this. Obviously, you can't get Fabulous Moolah. She held it. Well, no, Fabulous Moolah didn't hold this one per se. This one started out. This was the new design. This one didn't start out. I think Jacqueline held the first one. So that would be cool to have Jacqueline, the first person to ever hold this title, and of course Layla's on here. So I think I want to have them sign it together down here on the back. So. Yeah, so this is the Women's Championship, guys. I love this thing more than anything. It's definitely one of the key, one of my key pieces in collecting. A lot of what's behind me is the co-CEOs, but I have certain pieces that I'm very particular in. Oh, I have a glass case of Wonder Woman Pops. You saw that on my Funko collection. All right, well, that part of my collection is the Funkos, and then this. Like, those are the things I care about the most in life. Not really, not all of life, but in the collecting world, these are my favorites. So yeah, I get a lot of questions about this, and so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video because I can finally answer all those questions. Yeah, and you guys can follow me if you want to follow my personal IG. I guess I'll allow it at Martha D Staub, and just like it is, right down here in my name over here. It's always inverted. Martha D Staub. So without the period. So just full name, Martha D Staub. You can find me on IG on my personal account. I have a lot of the meet and greets that I do. I don't post a lot of the meet and greets on the MDMC page because we didn't facilitate those. Yeah. So if we had nothing to do with the meet and greet, we don't want to take a picture and post it on there because then the people that actually did facilitate it would kind of get mad. So we try to keep everyone's credit where their credit is due. So that's why a lot of it's on my personal. But the things that we do, you can find on MDMC's Instagram account. All right, guys, that's about it. I gotta go do champ things. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the things that you can to show this video love, and also on our social media. Like, comment, interact with us. We'll interact back. It's free to do all of those things. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll show you another belt soon in the future. I have a couple more. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Champ things.